Yeah, this is Brenna, our resident producer. She's
Yeah.
gonna
Hello.
make sure that we stay on track.
Thank you for
Yes.
letting me know. Hi,
I've,
Brenda. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Brenna wasn't able to join us earlier. She just came in. I just want to let Brenna know we're recording.
Awesome.
You can cut this out if you want. But Brenna's in the call. She's gonna make sure that we stay on track.
Cool.
Awesome.
So that preamp, is it MOHR or MOOER? Because I found two different ones.
MOOER.
MOOER. Okay.
Chinese brand. They make tiny, they were like cutting edge on making small pedals for pedal boards. They made small power supplies, and they had this. They made this preamp that's called Preamp Live where you can you can change the cabs, you can change the preamps, you can change tubes, and it's all simulated, and it's really cool, and it's not the same as the real thing, but it's pretty damn close.
I'm starting to like tiny guitar electronics. Like I have a orange micro terror.
Yeah.
That thing is fun.
Mm.
And it's not a joke. Like I plug that into my my preamp or what do you guys call it? My interface when I'm using like Studio One or something like that. Oh, I gotta crank that bad boy way down. It's very powerful for such a little thing, and it sounds great.
Yeah, and it's all about what works. As long as it works, if it sounds good. If it sounds good, well, it's right. It's what they did back in the day as well. They had the option to have great, huge amps playing loud in the studio, but they preferred to use back then it was like Supro amps. Pretty much all the Led Zeppelin albums were recorded on Super amps, they were so cheap that they bought 4 of them because they would break down, and you would just throw that one out in the in the bin in the back, and you would just bring another one in. But that's how they recorded, all the classic songs.
It wasn't like this. It wasn't this $300,000 studio with $5 million. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that's not necessary to make a good song. It just isn't.
It's all about craft. It's all about getting the stuff to work, making it play, putting the whatever mic you have in the right position, and then tuning if you have an EQ, cool, use that, tweak it, or move the mic around, and just get a good sound on tape or on hard drive, and that will make it work.
And this is one of the most important things that Shulk has always tried to get into my head, is that the tool is half the job, right? Just you can use a hammer in 1,000 different ways. Just you learn how to use the hammer. I don't know if we lost him now. We might have lost our interview subject of the day. We'll see if he gets back.
I'll just hold on.
I think he underestimated how much actual battery Zoom drains from your iPad. So I can't bookmark this, but we're at. I'm gonna pause. So unfortunately, because Zoom drains your battery super fucking fast, and our dear friend in Norway didn't have his charger connected, we're gonna continue this conversation. And we were talking about your equipment. You were talking about what you were working on now. Is there some additional information you want to give that is essential to that before we move on to the next topic?
I use whatever works, whatever sounds good at the time for the job that I'm doing at the time. It might be a cheap guitar with a cheap amp and it might be an expensive guitar-ish because I don't have that many expensive guitars. But it might be.
Oh, that's bullshit. I call bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Bring it on, dude.
All right. That fucking Hippicaster that you have.
Yeah, it was about $1,200.
That's not crazy.
No.
That's
But
expensive,
I
but not
bought
insane.
I bought the parts online, and I got a local painter to paint that guitar in a design that he made that I approved of. And I bought some hardware from a certain place that was quite expensive, and I got it put together by a guy that knows what he's doing.
we're demonetized anyway, so you're allowed to make commercials.
But all in all, I think the guitar cost me about $1,200.
And that's not crazy expensive because
No.
there's like 12 strings that you can buy that are like $10,000, and then I wouldn't even know where to start playing.
Yeah, but
I
right.
didn't go down to the store and like bang on the wood to make sure they have the right frequencies. I just bought some parts from a guy who had the parts that I wanted, and I had a great painter, a great artist that painted the guitar, and I got nice pickups from a guy that makes pickups, or at least used to, in like his backyard. And he made pickups that he thought would sound good for the way that I play. And I got hardware from a guy in the States that make it big, in the old way, where it's like solid metal. And that's what we put together. And it turned out to be a great guitar. There was no guarantees, but it turned out to be a great guitar.
We have to say that Hippicaster, we are going to post links to the photos of the Hippicaster in the Patreon link.
That's the one guitar that I have at home.
It's a fantastic guitar. It's a left-hand guitar for right-handed player. He's going to show it now because he doesn't realize he's on radio.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait for the picture. I want to see it now.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
He built his himself. It's one of
There it is.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah,
That's very cool.
It's wonderful.
Very gorgeous.
It's a piece of art, And
Yes.
I started out playing the guitar, listening to Jimi Hendrix. That's where I realized the guitar was more than just, chords. And this guy that made this design, I'm fond of red. I like red. I think red is a great ground color. So he made this guitar. This is piece on the lower bout.
Yeah, and it's almost like a bandana mixed with like
it's all hand painted,
hippie, daisy kind of things. Yeah, it's super cool.
So it's a beautiful instrument. That's why I wanted to bring it up. The fact that it was only $1,200 blows me mind. I had no idea. He has never told me. I just adore this guitar since the day he got it. We're gonna post links. We're gonna make sure that Shulg takes some good pictures of the guitar, sends it to us so we can post it in the comments. Just check it out and check out his. Well, you can say it yourself. You got a studio, don't you?
Yeah. It's funny though because it's called Strängelek, which means string play, I guess. Or like playing with strings.
Studios.
Strängelek studio. It's just one. It's a tiny studio with a lot of guitars, a lot of amps. There's enough room for a couple of people in there, not more.
And of course, we're going to post links to that.
I'm going to show you another one. I was lying. I don't have one guitar at home. I have two guitars at home.
The other one's made out of all diamonds. You just wait.
Back in the 30s, what was all the craze was Hawaiian music. It was the greatest thing. But the thing about Hawaiian guitars back then, they were acoustic, so you couldn't hear them over a band or an orchestra. Right. So this guy called George Beauchamp, he came up with the idea of a pickup, and he got a help from a guy called Adolf Rickenbacher, which later changed the spelling of his last name to Rickenbacker. But they made Rickenbacker, yeah, and they made electric lap steels back in the 30s, and I have like 10 feet away from where I'm sitting right now, I have a Rickenbacker, but not a Rickenbacker, a Rickenbacher, before they changed the spelling. Lap steel from 1939.
That's sweet.
And the first electric guitar came around about 1952.
And
so
of course, we're going to post photos in the description. You all
depends on how much you pay. I will post pictures, but
all right. So for every $10 on Patreon, Charles going to post a new picture of a new guitar on our Patreon page. We're going to give him full exclusivity. You want to see what he's carrying? All right, you need to pay for that shit.
We can get him on the same payment plan as Dr. Emma.
Oh yeah, fucking
I'll just keep promising them more money. That
we have to talk about that, because like a fifth of what we're making now is going to Brenna, and now we're actually so Brenna. By the way, everybody can hear you laughing here.
Oh wow!
Oh, look at that. Look,
how cool is that thing?
All right.
That's beautiful.
All right, Brenna, be our visual artist. Can you please describe what we're looking at for the people who don't have visuals now?
How many strings is that? 1, 2, 6 string. Was that wood? It's very smooth finish. Guitar. It's got a little bit of wear and tear on the back. Beautiful. It means that it's been used and it's been loved. And it's very unique kind of style of a guitar that I've never seen before. But
and it
looks
smaller
wonderful.
And it has a wide neck, so it wouldn't look like a
it doesn't. Yeah, it's there's no taper neck for your hand.
We're gonna be really super fucking. We're gonna be super fucking quiet, and we're gonna see if we can get a couple of notes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the thing about Beauchamp, when he talked to the Rickenbacher, as they were called at the time before they changed to Rickenbacker, they weren't into the music industry at all. They were into plate and steel. They were steel workers. So this is a guitar made out of steel that's been.
Oh wow!
It's hollow, and it's made from steel that's been standed out to make the shape. I have no idea where they welded or did not weld. I suspect that they made the bottom and the sides from one piece metal, and they welded the top on. But I don't know. And like you see the fret markers, they're not painted, but they're
like little cavities.
Yeah. For those who can't see this, is that for us looking at it, actually looks like one solid piece of wood, but it's steel.
It's hollow,
and it's hollow, and it has no welding seams that we can visually see in any way.
And it's got the same pickup, the horseshoe pickup that Rickenbacker got famous for, which was used by David Lindley and many great lap steel guitar players back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Not that it was that hip in the 90s, but still the guys that played lap steel were endorsing.
But you have to educate people like me, because I'm uneducated and only listen to heavy metal. Who is David Lindley?
He played the lap steel guitar with Jackson Browne back in the 70s. He's had a major solo career. He had a major hit back in the 80s doing a song called Mercury Blues, which was basically a bass, lap steel, and drums. and he was really maybe alone by himself the guy that made the lap steel survive the 80s and 90s, where everyone was playing like super strats and doing tapping and whatever and sweeps. He was playing lap steel.
There we go.
And
Learning all kinds of new
That's
shit.
beautiful.
I think lap steel and slide guitars are still popular in like country music in the States, but lap steel far less than even the slide guitar, which is still pretty rare to hear nowadays.
Yeah, well, you know, lap steel is like the simple version of pedal steel. I think they started out with lap steel, and then it turned out to the pedal. The pedal steel came along a bit later because they sort of developed the
Right.
whole idea. But you know, it's a whole different instrument. You know, you have guys like Jared Douglas, which is awesome, playing the dobro. This is like the electric version of dobro, but you know, you can implement effects, overdrive, echo, and and you have guys like Daniel Lenoir that's like really, you know, using instruments like this to the full extent and making sounds that has never been heard before.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
We are learning all kinds of new shit on the Ben podcast today.
Yeah.
I'm
What
just
you're
telling
here
everybody.
for.
Yeah. So, all right. Can you, for our listening views, just give us a small taste of what that beautiful instrument sounds like? Or do you want, what you can do is we can post-product and you'll send us a small sound that you've made and we'll edit that in. Is that okay, Brenna?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
We can do that.
Look,
And that song will go right here.
I'll give it a shot right now. If it doesn't work, this is where the video ends. If it works,
The
you can use
interview
it
is not over. You're my big brother. I'm going to call the shit out of you because you're not getting off that easy just because you fucked up some playing.
But
you're
if
off.
it doesn't work, then I'll make a tape. You know, but you know,
Cool.
I just gave you a nice place to cut.
Yeah.
So, right, okay. So I've been drinking wine. Could you hear that?
Yeah, we could hear all of that. I would like to have that in a sort of better environment, though. And
We should have a lap steel guitar be the instrument for our intro.
Yeah. Hey. By the way, while we're on the topic, you want to do the intro for a show? Feel free. On a lap steel, you're free.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Just make it sound like a trash can. It's called the bin. All right.
That's true.
All right.
So I have the coolest mic, Mikey. I have the coolest mic. It was made in the States. It's called Placid Audio. They make a mic called Copper Foam. You heard about this?
Googling right now.
Yeah. Placid Audio. It's a guy. I think he's in New York.
Okay. You say plastic or classic?
Placid.
Placid.
Like Lake Placid.
Got it. Oh, look at that thing. Oh, that looks awesome.
That thing is awesome. It's got I bought a couple of things from him. It's a thing called copper foam.
Yeah,
and
that's the first one that
carbon. Yeah, and carbon phone. The carbon phone is like, like the PA speakers from back in the 30s, which are all like,
Yeah.
you get that sound from that mic. But it's excellent for guitars. It's excellent for percussions. It's excellent for vocals. If you want like a whole different taste to everything, it sounds like nothing that you can emulate that using plugins, but it's not the same. This is like the real deal. I use the copper phone all the time. It sounds like an old telephone, but it's really excellent for blending in with, if you use like a good condenser mic for vocals, and you use that on the side as well, and you blend that in, you get a whole different presence that is, it's a whole...
I can sound like I'm calling a baseball game for the 1930s. And next up for the Blue Jays is...
Yep, you get that. And it cuts off all the transients. It cuts off everything. And you get that sound, like from the black, the old black and white, news broadcast. But you blend that in with like a nice condenser that you have on the side. It's bringing a whole different feel to it.
So... I feel like we have to move this conversation on. We've been talking a lot about what rig you're in, what kind of equipment, but we do have some questions for you about how is it being a musician, living from your music, living about playing live in the situation that we are in now. That is quite important because, well, it's contemporary.
Yeah. So I would like to play a small song about that. It goes like this.
All right.
That song is how we feel.
Yeah. Well, I'm fortunate. I live in a country where we're closed down, but everything works. Yeah. And I'm fortunate because I have my own studio where I still have a lot of stuff to do. I've been working the last few days on a live streaming concert that we're going to do for church. It's the first one in the region where we live, which is going to be really nice. It's going to be really cool. And I've got a lot of great people, great musicians, great video techs, great sound guy working on the same thing. And we're working together on this project. Whatever comes in, if we get $500, we're gonna split that even, and everyone's.
And of course, we're gonna post links to that in the Bin podcast on our Twitter pages.
It's in Norwegian, so it's gonna be interesting for the people living in different countries.
Beautiful music is beautiful music in any fucking language.
It's going to be nice, but the cool thing is that people are, we're all doing this together. The guys that know about video, they know about streaming, young guys about 20, 21, and I'm approaching 40. The rest of the guys.
Oh, really? When are you turning 40, my friend?
Fuck off.
Sorry.
The keyboard player is like 24, 25. The other guitar players, he's 51, I think.
So everyone's going to be performing remotely?
No, but the thing is that we're guys from different ages, different. We do different stuff, but we're working together on this project. The kids that do the video, they're not kids, but the guys that do the video, they're 21. The guy that does the sound, he's approaching 50. We're two guitar players. The other one is 50, and I'm 40. And the keyboard player is 20. There are people from different ages, different.
You're 39 for another 8 months.
Oh, fuck off. But we're all coming together from different scenes, from different places, from different ages to do this thing together. We've been working on it for 3 days now. tomorrow is day for the gig.
So I'm
And
saying, like, are all the musicians going to be together?
yeah,
And then that gets streamed out? Okay, I thought you
yeah,
guys were going to be like playing
no,
guitar
no,
here, playing
no, no,
guitar 10 miles away, playing drums 50 miles away. I was
no,
like,
no.
you guys figured that out? Oh my God.
Well, we could, but you know, we think about, you know, right now the rule for in Norway is that you should not have more than 5 people in the same room, unless the room
Right.
is bigger than so and so. So we are 6 people in the same room to do this gig, but that means that we can only have 3 musicians. So we have 3 musicians that match up really well, but you know, we're different. You know, there is different in age, in approach, and everything, but we make this work. Which is,
That's awesome.
and the kids that do the video are younger, but we're working as a team, all of us, to make this work. Because this is how we need to do it to get by now.
Yeah. Have to we all have to adjust to the times, or
Yeah, we have to be a creative. We have to do things differently than we did before. We can't, you know, we can't bring our amps or our drums or our bass amps or our keyboards to a venue and set up and do like 1 day of rehearsals and 1 day of gigs. And if people show up, we get paid. And it's not like that anymore. It's not like that right now. So you have to do things differently. So what we did was the guy that I worked with for the last 8 years is an artist that I produced. He did 2 years ago. He did an album of songs in our native language and in our dialect. So we just I decided that we should do a church concert without an audience. And I asked a lot of people to join in, and you know, doing a thing like this, you know, you have no guarantees about how much money we'll get in, or you can't tell anyone, okay, I'll pay you $1,000 to come here and do this work for 2 days. I can't, because I don't know if that money is there. But they all joined in and said, yeah, this sounds like a cool gig. It sounds like a cool thing to do. And they all joined in. So it's a joint effort.
And even if this isn't necessarily super lucrative and you guys retire rich and early because of it, at least it's a fun experiment to see if this can be used in other capacities. So if you can figure this out for this, then that kind of opens up the door for other things that aren't just psalms in a church, you know.
We don't know, because you know we haven't done this before. Right. An international pandemic of this extent, we have not done this before. It's brand new. You know, we've had a lot of challenges per se, but you know, not like this. This is a whole new ball game. So we just have to find new ways of doing what we do, and finding ways of getting that out to people, and hopefully, of course, it would be cool if we could make a living out of this. But most of all, we want to give people a break, because that's what music is all about. You're giving people a break. You know, you can listen to music doing the dishes, and all of a sudden the dishes is not that big of a deal. You can listen to music while you drive the car, and it's like all of a sudden feel like that long of a stretch.
Right.
Because you know it's all about, you know,
an escape.
Yeah. It's like watching a movie. It's like watching it's like binging, you know, all that kind of stuff you do just to make time pass by. And sometimes, you know, music is a way of doing that. Because music is great. You know, we don't have to agree about music. I love that in music. You don't have to agree. I can love something. You can say, it sucks. You can say, this is awesome. I can say, I don't get it. Right. It doesn't matter, because if it matters to you, then it's good. And if it matters to me, it's good. We don't have to agree. Music, it has that power.
All right. And so you just gave me the best segue ever, because we all have different opinions, but you are known to be quite an opinionated person, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. And let's see now. I'm going to go into your Facebook page live.
You're not.
We're doing this live. And let's see. You have, at the point that we're talking, it's lagging as shit. All right. So we are looking at your Facebook page, and you have.
Who is we?
I am.
It's the royal we, Mikey.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You have. Where the fuck can I see your frank scans? Because that is ridiculous to me. You're about at 4,993 friends. 4,993 friends on Facebook. Mikey, how many friends on Facebook do you have?
A couple, you know.
Oh. We're not even close to that, but you have 4,000, and you have been known to make comments in politics on your Facebook page to your 5,000 followers.
Yep.
How do you feel as being a musician, taking a part in the political discourse?
Well, why should I not? You know, it's I have done that a few times, and I still will do that. You know, at certain points in time, you have to make your statement known. People might agree or disagree, but you have to make your statement known, because if maybe someone finds some sort of sense in what you're saying or what your opinion is, and if it's well funded, then that might make a difference for them.
But you're just a musician. Like, who are you telling people what to do? Like, you play guitar. That's what you do. Who are you to tell people what to think, what to feel?
I'm not telling anyone what they have to think or feel. I'm telling them what I think and feel, and if that makes sense to them, that's fine. If it doesn't make sense to them, that's also fine. What is most important is that I am entitled to have my opinions on all issues, as anyone else. But I need to when I express my opinions, I should, as anyone else, fund those opinions on something that is based on, for example, reality, which is a problem right now. Because everyone goes out shopping for whatever. If you have an opinion, like the Earth is flat.
Yes.
Well, we all know it's not. But if you go online, you will find something that gives you some sort of foundation for claiming the Earth is flat, because you just link to a face page or a
YouTube
web
channel,
page, or that says the same thing as you mean. And the thing is that, you know, when I grew up, the news were like, that's where you got your facts. We trusted the news. We thought that the news was right. You know, there was some sort of filter telling us what was right. It might have not been, but still there was like a general consensus of what was the facts and what was not. now you can just go online, and if you say, oh look, the earth is not flat, it's oval, and it's actually, the earth is divided into 4 parts, but we have bridges between them, and you will probably find a web page that sort of gives that credibility.
There's no fact-checking mechanism anymore. There's no peer accreditation that's valued anymore. Anyone can say
it's like global warming. How can you not say? How can you claim that global warming is not going on?
Okay, all right. So
Come
me and Shulk we have the same parents. We're brothers, and our dad has this creed, right? Like every time we had the discussion, it's like our dad put his finger, when he put his finger on the kitchen table, said, facts, not opinions, facts. What are the facts? What do we know? Right? You remember Dad doing that, don't you? Like saying facts. What are the facts? To the point. But in the day and age that we're living in, we're not talking about facts anymore. We're talking more about opinions. And you've got a lot of pushback because you have 5,000 friends, but you have a lot fucking more followers, mate. On Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So when you're putting out your opinion on a certain subject and you get pushback on that, how do you respond? When they say, you're just a musician, play guitar, shut the fuck up.
Well, on the other hand, you know, if you don't think that my opinion counts, then don't care about what I say.
That's a good answer.
But,
though.
it's my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. Everyone is. If you don't like my opinion, you're right. That's fine. You don't have to agree with what I say. It's okay.
But I think more importantly is, even if you're just a guitar player or a worker in a factory, you're still a person. You're still a citizen in whichever country it is. You're still a taxpayer in whichever country it is. You still have a vested interest in things, even if you're not an expert in those things.
And I think
everyone should be able to say that.
What we have lost at some point in time, in the recent years, I think, is that, you know, if you have an opinion that is not the same as mine, then we cannot talk together anymore.
Right.
We cannot meet in the street and acknowledge each other and talk about what we disagree on. We cannot leave there agreeing to disagree, because what's happening now is that my opinion is mine, yours is the opposite. So that means that we're enemies. No, we're not enemies. We're living in the same world. We might live in the same country, you know, or in the same state or in the same city. But, you know, we need to coexist. We need to acknowledge that we don't agree on certain subjects. That's fine. But we still need to be able to coexist.
Right.
Yeah.
And
because I cannot, you know, if you disagree with me, I cannot erase you. And I think that's probably happened with like social media, because if you disagree with someone on social media, what do? You can just
block them.
Yeah. You can't do that in real life. You can't do that at the mall. You can't do that at like the local grocery store. You can't block people that way. That's not how we roll. We can't do that. We have to acknowledge, and we have to.
That's not real life.
No, but we have to acknowledge, and we have to respect the fact that, you know, there are going to be people around us at all times in our lives that we are not in agreement with, and they're not in agreement with us. But we can still we can still shop the same groceries. We can still be standing in the same line, and we need to be able to talk to each other. How's your day? My day was fine. How's yours? Well, it's been rough. All right. It's going to work out? Yeah, it's going to work out. Cool. Good to hear that. And we can, give each other, not right now, but, later, give a handshake or maybe a hug. And, and we disagree on certain subjects, but we're still coexisting.
Yeah.
And we're not, right now, we're not good at that. We're not coexisting in the way we should be.
I think a lot of people have lost a lot of their ability to communicate. Like they're good at one-way communicating. They're good at expressing their point, and then they're also good at blocking. Like they're not good at the other half of communicating, which is listening to the other party and understanding what they agree with, what they disagree with, and moving in that lane. They like to just say what they like to say. And then you can either say, oh, that's a good job, you said something, or you can say nothing. And they think that those are the only two options. But no, there's a million options of different varying shades of agreement and disagreement that each person individually is going to have that's different than the next person. So what we all can probably get a little bit better at is just, even if because I've been involved in these debates about flat earthers and stuff like that, is I don't even just yell at them and say, well, you're just stupid. Obviously we have pictures and video from space of the round planet. I say, well, show me, tell me more about what you're talking about. And
I
then
think the art of argument has gone away.
Yes.
I think we either have, like you said, we either have.
We got producer comments here. All right, the producer
I
is
have.
back. And all right, so no, go.
No, okay. So we for what we've found up on especially in the social media age is this art of debate or this art of argument. We either have, just like Mikey said, you either have to sort of smile and nod and say, yeah, whatever you're saying, you're allowed to think that way, or you push back so hard that nothing happens. Like the art of debate is what we need.
Yeah.
You can still have opinions, but you have to have something else. It can't just be, this is what I think, goodbye. It's, this is what I think, this is why, here are those facts. I grew up like that. Like you were, the finger on the table, back it up with facts. That's what I grew up with too. With my dad was a philosophy major. So we argued a lot, but we always had an art. We always learned the art of argument.
In our household, there was no argument at any point. Like,
why would we do that?
No. Why would we do that? Like, oh, his girlfriend is like laughing loud in the background just for me saying that.
I like that.
No, I agree with Brenda, because the art argument and also the thing that you have to be able to have an argument or a discussion with people that disagree with you. Not
if you can dish it, you have to be able to take it.
Yeah, but
if you can tell somebody that they need to back up with facts, you have to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, and even if you have the facts and still you're not making any sense to me, I still have to respect you for that. And we can leave that discussion being online or in person over a cup of coffee and still have respect for each other. And okay, I don't agree with what you're saying. I don't believe in it, but that's fine. That's fine. I still have to acknowledge that you have that point of view in certain, whatever it might be. But
right,
that doesn't mean doesn't mean that it gives me, because I disagree with you, it gives me the right to diminish you as a person, or and dumb you as such.
Okay, but I want to push
your
back.
opinions not being right.
I want to do some pushback on that. So where do you draw the line?
I don't draw a line. I don't draw a line. No. But
is every opinion that every person?
Talking to people that agree with me is not very constructive, is it? Because talking to people, it's like an echo chamber. If I talk to people that I think this, I think that too. You're so smart. That's not progress. That it doesn't help. It's a lot more interesting to talk to people that disagree with what I mean or what I think, because I want to hear what they're thinking and what they're saying and what how they reason about this. But what I expect from anyone that I talk to, if they disagree with me, fine, I will respect that. I expect them to respect that I disagree with them. And that's what I think we have lost.
Because I get this a lot on Facebook, which is why I barely ever use it now, is anytime someone says something and it is clearly not based on any sort of facts whatsoever. It's either a lie or it's just some rabid opinion that they have about somebody. And I say, well, why would you say that about them? Mikey, you're just here to argue all the time. It's like, what's the argument? I asked you to back up what you're saying, and you're treating me like I am an aggressor. It's like, why are you defending yourself? Just explain what you're trying to say. But any kind of push for clarification becomes an attack. Instead of them having to defend them, they feel like they have to defend themselves as opposed to explain themselves. Like, what you've said is either unclear or crazy. I just want to know which one it is. And then that's automatically an insult nowadays. But people ask stuff all the time, and I just explain what I meant.
That's what happens on Facebook. It's like arguing with your girlfriend on SMS or text,
Yeah.
It never ends up well.
Just you talk to never,
Karina,
you will never get the text saying, okay, when you write like that, I understand that I made a mistake. You're right. See you back home. It's never going to happen.
It's never happened in the history of smartphones.
Nope. It's not.
Not once. Not one time.
But, to make an extreme scenario, if I was like a neo-Nazi, really racist kind of person, and I was talking to you, do you think that we might have found something that we had in common?
We talked about guitars for the better part of an hour.
Exactly.
What I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. So if we can just focus on what we have in common in front of what we disagree on, and we lay the basis on what we agree on, what we have in common first, and then we talk about. And then
is this your way of telling me you're a neo-Nazi? Did I just get tricked the whole time? I'm just kidding.
No way,
I'm just kidding.
No, but really,
Mikey, no.
But if I was, but
our producer just went in and said, like, Mikey, fuck off.
Come on. Bro.
Mikey, no. N-O spells no, Mikey. Let's not go there. We're not going there.
Everyone knows that was a joke. Relax. Obviously, he's a neo-Nazi. He's not.
There are people on the internet that will not look at that as a joke. But
those
that
people
is
will be giving us money to be able to hear to this.
And that's why we have Brenda as a producer, making sure that this shit goes down straight. Yeah. Hey, we have to move on, because this is really fucking important, because you have a big platform, don't you?
Yeah, but that was my entire point with this. Okay, it was an extreme example, but still, if I was not neo-Nazi, but if I was like white supremacy-ish,
Or even if you had one in your family who used to be.
Yeah, you're not helping. But you know, even if I was, that was my view of the world. But if me and Mike could find something, we have found something that we agree on, that we are passionate about, right? We have guitars and music, and we have so much in common. So if my view of the world is different than yours, but if you lay that, if we lay that connection that we have, the passion that we have, that the meet up, you know, the coexist, that we have in common, if that is the foundation, then we can disagree on everything, because we can always go back to what we agree on, and we will still have that link. We will still have the same passion about something.
And then on top of that, when so if we're just talking on the phone and we have just this talking on the phone conversation about guitars, and then we meet up in person, and
Mikey, your microphone is doing that left-right thing again.
Oh, sorry. Let me see if I can get it. I'll get more in the center. So if we have this super in-depth phone conversation and then we meet in person, and then I hate white people, you know what I'm saying? Like I just, but then I have to, now I have to change something in my formula in my brain where it's like, well, I thought I hated all white people, but this guy really knows his stuff about guitars and we had some really good talks. So maybe I have to reconsider some of those things that I thought before.
Yeah, because that comes out.
All right. But here's where I have to push back, because now you're talking about anecdotal things, right? Because Wayne's been talking a lot about this. Our friend Wayne, who's a co-host on this show, who's not here tonight because he's probably drunk somewhere underneath a pub in England.
In some gutter.
Fuck you, wanker. No, but
I'm telling Wayne.
Wayne's gonna hear this because it's a part of the fucking show. Like Wayne's not. This is not.
Wait, he listens to this?
Yup. So here's the point I'm trying to make. Like Wayne has a lot of really white supremacist friends, right? But they agree with Wayne because they know Wayne. They say like, well, you're not one of those because you're our mate. You get what I mean?
Right.
And what you're talking about, like, is it okay for a racist fucking butthole to be a racist butthole just because he accepts you because you can talk about guitars with him? I don't agree with that. Like, a racist fucking asshole is a racist fucking asshole.
But I want to talk to them. I want to talk to those guys. I want them to tell me how they feel, why they think what they do, and how they think, and what is the reason behind their statements. Because it's not interesting for me, you know, in that sense, to talk to people that agree with me. I want to talk to the people that disagree with me, because that's how we can meet. That's how we can put, in a way, you know, I can tell them, I think this because of this and that. And they can tell me, yeah, but I think this because this and that. And it might be as simple as a Jewish or African-American kid, you know, tripping them when they were a kid. And that's why they're racist now.
Right. The root of their issue.
It might be, you know, because that's how they were brought up. You know, it might be they have like a conscious idea of why they think what they do, or maybe they just think what they do because that's how they're thought. You know, that's how they're brought up. We don't know.
All right.
But you know,
I just want to clarify.
If we're gonna get anywhere, we have to cement some sort of common like foundation about what we
a common ground.
What?
We need a common ground.
Yeah, common ground.
right?
Because there is, I can guarantee, if you get a Jew or you get a Muslim or you get an African American, you get a Norwegian or you get the Turk or whatever in the same room, if you give them like 2.5 hours, you're gonna find one thing they can agree on, one thing they can agree on
Yeah,
being
but
important,
all right.
one thing that
Yeah, but
they all are passionate about.
But here's the push.
Tacos.
But here's the pushback, though. Right? That's one thing you can agree with that person on. Right?
No, I'm talking about a lot of persons in the same room with a completely different way of thinking about life and society as such. But if you get them in the same room, they can all agree on they love their siblings, they love their parents, they have a lot of things in common. If you can just focus on what we have in common.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And if we start off from that, and okay, we disagree on this, okay, we can work on that. We can find some common ground. Okay, I think you're wrong, but I want to hear what you're thinking about that subject. I don't agree on it. I will never agree on that. I think you're a maniac, but we need to talk about those things and we need to find a common ground. Because we will never get anywhere if I'm telling you that you're wrong. You tell me, no, you're wrong. And we'll just block each other on Facebook, and we're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, I think what Kjartan is saying is there's some people who will at least publicly.
No. Let me speak for me. Speak for you.
Go ahead.
No. If say something, but don't speak for me. Don't say what
I was not saying what you're about to say. I was just trying to rephrase what you were saying.
No, this is my brother. Like, we've had these discussions for what now? 35.
Mike, I'm sorry. He's done it since we were 12.
Yeah. We've been doing this for fucking ever. So
would it be fair, Kjartan, for me to say that a similar point you were making earlier would be like some people just don't want to do things and they're not going to give those things up? Like some people just don't want to be better in certain aspects of their life, whether it's hating a certain group or learning better about certain topics. And is that fair to say, Kjartan? Is that something that you were saying earlier?
What I was trying to get at is what Shulk is saying is way more open than I am. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the open conversation is helpful in any way. I'll have the conversation with you. I'll have the discussion with you. But at one point, I'll just dismiss you as a fucking retard. I say, there's no fucking point in continuing this conversation because you're just too stupid to actually understand how the world works.
I'm so proud right now.
No, you're not. But you're my big brother. You're not supposed to be. There is no problem for me dismissing people and saying like, no, you're fucked in the head and you hate people because of their ethnicity, their religion, or their sexuality. I don't want to have anything to do with you until you've... And I can't change you because I've done everything that I can do.
And then what?
Right, those people are still going to be there regardless.
Then I'm going to be the president of the world and everybody's going to get shot.
Because I mean, those people aren't going to just go away. So the only thing we can really
when I'm president of the world, they are going to go away. I got an anchor and I got a boat. All right?
The comments of Kjartan are not necessarily indicative of those of all employees of the Bin Podcast LLC.
Mike,
because
we have to be friends on Facebook.
I just sent the request. So we can tag team them later. So what I'm saying is like the only way to really change those people's mind is to be so annoying that they have to change their mind and make it their own idea.
Mike, we're friends.
Mikey, but how many hours have I spent discussing white supremacy with white supremacists?
Many.
And you've been a fucking victim to those discussions, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right. I spent hours after hours doing this shit, right? And I know, because you're a black guy and they think that you're inferior.
African American, dude.
No, black. No,
black.
African American is something.
I've learned this. I'm not allowed to say colored or African American. Black. Black is okay. Black is okay.
African American's okay too. It's just I prefer black because African American like implies that like I lived in Africa and then my family emigrated here. It was a little bit of a different story. So I'll take black.
We have to go back and say I called him colored for like, what was it, like 3-4 months until he said like, it's not okay. Like you can't say that.
I understand that there's a language in subtle culture.
Yeah, right. So. But I've spent hours after hours on these calls debating white supremacists and fucking just weirdos, right? I've been doing this. I've been doing it on Discord. I've been doing it. And I don't think that I actually converted anybody, but at some point, maybe somebody who heard that discussion went like, no. This shit just ain't right.
There was the one guy.
There was this one guy
who actually started to change his mind when Kjartan literally said, without having any knowledge of the conversation previous, he said the almost exact same things that all the black people were trying to explain to this guy. Kjartan came in and said the same things. He was like, "Oh, I understand now." Like it just literally had to come out
because it was so easy for him to miss every argument of a black person because they were a black person. He has this one thing, and I don't think we can convert everybody because there has been evil fucking people around the world all of the fucking time. At some point, you just have to let go and say, "Nah, Even if we have common ground, I just can't stand by this. If you want to kill every Muslim person in the fucking world, and we both like heavy metal, no,
right.
Fuck you.
And that's like
we don't have common ground. I'm going to drag you into the backyard and shoot you in the back of the head. And this is my opinion. Go.
Yeah. So you're
the comments by Kjartan are not completely indicative of all the views and opinions here at the Bin podcast.
This is not the view. This is not the view. This is way nicer than the view.
I tried to say,
Brenna, you and Mikey needs to do a drop where I say stupid shit, and you just put that in there that I am responsible for what I say.
We'll get somebody to do that.
I wanted to say the views. And then I thought the bin, and then
the view of the bin.
It just didn't go well in my brain.
On behalf of my family, I have to say that they did a pretty good job on the first and the third kid. The second one is the jury's still out on that one. That's Kjartan, by the way.
Middle child.
No. I'm good with that. Like,
no, this is probably more a philosophical,
difference
approach than a concrete one. But I think that I still think that dialogue is the only way, because we have to find some common ground. We can work from there, but if we focus on differences, if we focus on what we disagree on, we will never find common ground. If I'm telling you that you're wrong and you're telling me that I'm wrong, we're both going to lean back and stay on our opinions. But if we find something that we can slightly agree on, being guitars or sports or whatever. We can talk about something, and then we can work from there to find some way to not agree on everything, but find a way of making shit work. And it's all about making shit work. You know, we have to coexist. It's not like saying that the Israeli will have their own state. They're not going to have their own state anytime soon. And if they have, you know, the Palestinians will still be like in lack of a place to live. And there's a lot of kids, a lot of families, a lot of normal people. They're as normal as we are. There's no reason why they should not have like normal lives like we're used to. Why is this a problem? This should not be a problem. It should not be a problem. It should not be a problem. Come on.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
I'm older than you. Quiet. It should not be a problem.
Can we talk about coronavirus?
But it should not be a problem for African American or Syrian people in Norway and the Syrian family in Norway to try to make a life for themselves. It should not be a problem to be African American in the States in 2020. Come on, we're way past that. It should not be a problem. It should not be an issue. It should not be a problem to be a Native American.
Logically, it shouldn't be.
Logically,
we should all be equal because we're all human beings. But unfortunately,
we all agree on this.
We can all get in a dark room where we cannot see each other's color or anything. Anyway, we can find one small thing to agree on. We can build from there. It should not be a problem.
I agree completely. But
it's not buts. This is
there's a but because
this is all bullshit. This is all crap. It
is, but it's also reality, for fuck's sake. All right, so I agree with what's his fucking name, Ronald Reagan, when he said like, if you see something, say something. You remember those posters back in, was it like 90s, 80s, 90s?
Late 80s, yeah.
Yeah, if you see a Nazi, fucking hit a Nazi. That's what I say, right? Like, if you go around with a fucking swastika on your body and you fucking stand with that, hitting a Nazi is not as bad as hitting somebody who's actually protesting against that. You can't equivalent the fucking people who try to oppress with the people who try to liberate. It's not the same thing. And just because we have something in common, the bad thing kind of makes it okay for you to say the bad thing, and then we can ignore that. Like, you have to address the bad points at every point of the fucking day as soon as those fucking points gets made.
That is one approach. What you're saying is one approach to doing so. But it is a very polarizing approach, which someone can think the exact same way on the other side, and that doesn't get us exactly to where we're at. So I think the approach that, I'm going to try and say it, I'm going to do it, Skalg.
But you're close. Yeah, it's close. It's close. Yeah.
It was very close. It was a good try. It was very good. Very good.
See, we're bringing people together.
It's SKJ. I don't know how to say that.
No, it was a Scrabble table. They tossed every letter up. He just got on one vowel, and they put it in the middle. It's Skalg.
Your name would be worth like 75 points in Scrabble. You would get so many
probably
points.
if you were right.
You know what, Mikey? Try to read Gaelic names, like anything in Scotland, like the names of
Is it all vowels?
Scotch. It's the rule for actually saying those is you have to go through it as quickly as possible. So you may have a name that's 20, 25 letters long, but it will sound like it's just one syllable, just because you have to get through it as quickly as possible because you have to get to drinking. Those are rules.
You got priorities.
Those are rules. Those are rules you have to follow.
We have to say that Skjalg is one of the oldest names in the North language,
That's cool.
And Skjalg was one of the skulls, one of the history tellers.
Well, that's not the entire truth, because I thought so, and I think that's why I got the name, because it means skulls, which is like a troubadour from back in the Middle Ages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, not the Middle Age, it's the Viking Age.
Yeah,
right?
So that's what I was
back.
thought. That's what my parents told me when, the meaning of my name. But it turns out when I Google it, because when Google became a thing back, in the early 2000s, I Googled my name, and it turns out it means cockeyed or queer.
Oh.
Well, I didn't come.
That makes sense.
It didn't work out that good for me.
And I'm supposed to be stalling for time, but I'll just embarrass Kjartan because he walked away from his microphone.
We need to talk about coronavirus and how musicians are seeing this, because I understand that, especially with art these days, it's really hard for people to do their art in public. And so now we're all retreating back to video. So will this new way of presenting art online through video, will this be more common even after we get out of this? Or will we all just go back to, well, we're all just going to go to concerts now, but our favorite artists are doing free online concerts. Are we going to be going to them anymore? Are we going to be just like the way that digital music changed the way that we purchase music? Will that also happen with live music?
I think that's it's a bit premature thing to speculate on, because we haven't done this before. This is like really the first time that literally the whole world is on lockdown. Mm-hmm. We have not done this before. And right now people are doing their best to find new ways of making a living, find new ways of doing concerts, performing arts. It's not just happening in music. It's happening in theater. It's happening in classical music. It's happening everywhere. But we haven't done this before, and also this is it's been all the craze in a way, but it's been going on for like 3 weeks. And because it's been going on for such a short time, but very, very intense time, we don't know, because people are on leave from work, but they still got their last paycheck, which means that they have money, and they're not spending. They're not going to restaurants. They're not going to the movies. They're not going to concerts, because of that, I think people perceive that they have more money now for a short period of time, but they're on leave, so they will get less money, and that's when we'll see how people will spend money. And also, in Norway at least, I can't speak for anywhere else, but in Norway at least, we see that people are very solidaric. That they're feeling for what?
Stoic.
Stoic, yeah. But they're feeling for the artists, they're feeling for the musicians, and that's why they're paying for to see their concerts. But
I have to say that this is one.
But I think that's happening also because they still have money, because they're still on paycheck from the last month when they weren't on leave. But this month they will get 40% less. Mm-hmm. Which is, they're going to feel that. I would feel that.
Yeah, but
And
I think
and you know, we've been doing this for 3 weeks now, and it's been working out. But also, what happens is that everyone with a guitar out of tune and a bad idea is going to do a concert from their own living room.
And they're all doing it.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
all
bad
of the
Instagram
freaking
lives.
time.
oh yeah.
There's a lot of people out there just like,
Hey.
"All right, guys,
I
got
just
some
saw-
songs
No,
for
hey,
you."
hey. I have to push back on that. Don't judge people. You know, we're all in this. I'm talking to Mikey. We're all in this together, and so whether or not somebody does something that makes them, if they makes them happy, and thinking that going on, Facebook Live is the best way to do it, then that's the best way to do it. We all have to realize that we're all crazy. We're all going crazy right now.
This was his idea. I agreed with. You said, "You know what, Mikey? I'm sick." It's like, wait.
No, but you can't make fun of people. Just you're talking
No,
about
we're
bad
not
concert.
We're not making fun of people, but it's the same thing with concerts as it is with streams, as it is
Right.
with everything else. And it happened in the record industry years ago, when streaming became a thing. Hey, you don't need a label; you can just release anything. Brenda, if me and you get together,
not Brenda.
I play guitar.
Brenda.
Yeah, Brenda.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's far more Irish than Brenda.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
Irish.
no, he needs to get this right,
if
but he needs to know that this is his future family, right?
No.
Future ex-family, remember?
Yeah, ex-family. All right. we are gonna get divorced at some point. I promise.
You promise me.
I promise you. Like, it's gonna be a short-term thing.
But
Say goodbye to half your guitars.
The thing being that if I played acoustic guitar on 4 chords, and I sent that to Brenna, and you put the vocals on it, we could put that on Spotify right now. It will be out there in 2 weeks. And Mikey, we could work on a track for 2 months and put the same track, and it could be perfect. And we would put it on Spotify, and it would be equal to what me and Brenna did in 2.5 days.
Yep.
That's what happened. And that's what's happening on streaming right now. Is there is no filter. There is no one saying this is good, this is bad, which is in many ways a good thing. But there is so much data. There is so much stuff going on for people to filter that for people that.
All right. I'm going to push back on that. Is it though?
No, come on. Let me finish, because for people that are sitting in a living room, putting up their phone on like a cheap tripod, or a tripod, not a cheap one. I'm not dissing anyone.
Tripods are not cheap.
Or a pillow, which is what most of them are doing.
Or that, or a cheap pillow. But anyways, but
qualifier.
You could do that, and you can do that for your own self, and that's fine. But that's if that comes in conflict with people that are trying to do like a full production with a lot of people, like we're doing now. We have like 2 guys.
But is that is that in conflict? I mean, are you competing with the person with the phone on the pillow?
No, it's not in conflict, but it generates noise. There is no filter, which means that people that are people that have like they're on leave from their work, they still have 60% pay, and they do this for fun. And you have these guys that are really in dire need of trying to compensate for the 10, 15, 20 gigs that they lost, which is how they pay their phone bill, how they pay their rent, how they are able to take care of their kids.
Right.
But there is so much noise. There's so much stuff going on, and there is no system to I'm not trying to advocate for the way things used to be with like the record industry, because that didn't work either.
Right.
But there was some kind of filter going on that said, this is going to fly, this is not going to fly. We're not going to do this. This is what we're going to do. And the guys just got the message that this is not going to fly. Okay, they have to work harder. But right now, it's like open for everyone, which is in many ways good, but in some ways bad, because there are some people out there that has no other ways of making a living out of playing gigs, doing sessions. We can't do sessions anymore because you can't have more than 5 people in the room. So there, it's but you know, again, we haven't done this before. This is all new, and some people.
I even see this sort of in the education part of this, where I study, like, my skill is online education, and we're all now moving towards that, because I was thought of as crazy doing online education, but now we're all moving towards that. So I think that there is going to be a shift, but it may not be as well accepted. All right.
So we were talking about my gray zones. Do I have any gray zones, my good brother?
No, you don't.
No, I don't. No.
Well, on your arms though, but you're going to talk about that later.
So
that's just because the art is better than I was.
So with everybody going live and everyone getting attention for, sorry, Brenna, I have to say it this way. Producing bad music. If you think of it in any type of way that we can quantify the quality of music. Hold on. For any way that you can quantify the value or the quality of the sounds that people are making, they're making bad music. Good, bad, or indifferent. Some people like lower quality music. Some people like higher quality. I'm not putting an assessment on the likability of what's being put out, but people are putting out a lot of bad quality stuff.
All right.
I have something. I have something to say.
Producer privilege, right?
Okay.
You go first.
So, Mikey.
Yes.
What happened the first time that you picked up a guitar?
Oh, it was absolute garbage.
There you go.
You
grew.
I did not need a bunch of people telling me how good I was when I was actually bad. I needed to just be bad.
So people are learning how to produce music online. They're learning how to produce it.
Yeah.
It's going to fail the first few times. I completely understand that. So if you put something terrible out there or something poorly made, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's like they should go away just because of that.
No, I'm saying that when people post things online, if they go live on IG, they're not going to get constructive musical criticism. They're going to get their friends telling them that they're great. And then as an aspiring producer, you're going to have to deal with a bunch of cocky kids who have no idea what they're doing because all of their friends gave them a lot of hearts on IG.
Because I'm so fucking great. My mommy told me that I could sing and everything.
We've all seen American Idol. We've all seen American Idol auditions.
But that's
These
not
people
the only
all
problem.
are convinced that they are great.
Yeah, but that's not the only problem that you're fucking facing with. All right, so what do you face when we have too much information, right? It's that you have consolidated that information that you do have. And it's the same with music, right? When everything's coming out at you live, you have to sort of consolidate what is good and what's bad. And we get back to what we were talking about earlier. We were talking about, is it good craftsmanship or is it bad craftsmanship? All right? Is this carpeted right? Is this house fucking built right? And it's the same with music. Is it built right? Is it done right? What I drive trucks. That's what I do. And I listen to the radio a fucking lot. And sometimes I don't know if you change the song or not because everything sounds the same. We've gone back to some kind of weird blues, kind of weird of making music where every fucking pop song you hear on the song sounds the same. Becomes some record producer. And Shulk, yes, you are going to get a comment on this, but you need to shut up for right now. Because some fucking records producer is just giving me the finger. But because some record producer, this is how a pop song's supposed to sound like, right? It's supposed to sound like G, D, E minor, and C. That's kind of the way it's supposed to go. That's the way it's supposed to go. And if you listen to take Beatles, right? They never use that sequence. There is only like one song, Let It Be, right? Who uses that sequence for any of their songs, and they had what like 28 fucking ones in number ones in their career, and only one had that sequence of those 4 chords, right? But now every fucking song has to be that because we have dumbed down the fucking audience to this is what a pop song, this is what a popular song is supposed to sound like. And I don't want us to be that fucking stupid. I want us to be better. I want us to listen to fucking Def Leppard or Led Zeppelin or Beatles the way it was supposed to fucking be. But now we have fucking people in suits telling us what's supposed to be music, and we got Anaconda Don't. What the fuck? Who wants to listen to that?
That was about 5 years ago, but okay.
Because I'm old as shit, dude. What the fuck?
So, Brenna, I know you're a big fan of podcasts. Do you like podcasts with like tons of static and like just
I don't listen to a lot of podcasts.
Would you listen to a podcast if it had tons of like static and hissing and popping and the people were like the mics were real bad, you couldn't really understand them that well?
If it was in the beginning, yeah. Why not?
You know that you wouldn't. There's a certain quality.
No, every podcast will start off with as
That's
shit.
a fucking $2,000 mic, you fucking wanker.
I'm not talking about you.
All right.
I'm making a parallel between a lot of people putting out things of poor quality versus people who have honed their craft trying to put out something of decent quality. That was the comparison.
But you have to trial and error.
But you don't have to broadcast your trial and error.
No. But we have to take the podcast.
But broadcasting, you have to trial and error in the way that you're going to trial, that you want to get better. I mean, even if you're broadcasting for the first time, you're going to learn from your mistakes. But you can't learn from your mistakes if you're not allowed to make them.
But you can make a broadcast without going live.
That's the thing that's going on right now, because it's not about the podcast or the song being a bad song. It's not about the production, really. Most of the Bob Dylan songs or whatever, old songs that people listen to aren't necessarily good productions as such compared to what's going on today. But they're good songs. The podcast doesn't necessarily need to have like the hippest mics or the best sound, but the content is good, which is cool. You get something from that.
And that's why you're here.
But the problem right now is that there is no filter between what's coming out from the heart, from people trying really to bring out a message, and the people that just want to tell them that they bought a new bikini. There is really no. They are all on the same stream. They're all on the same.
I forgot to tell you, I just bought this.
If you have the greatest song played on an acoustic guitar on a bad mic in your living room while the parent is sleeping, and you have to make sure that the neighbor downstairs doesn't, to bring up the broom to knock on the floor, but it's really the greatest song. It's fantastic that Spotify is there, and the streaming services or there, Pandora is there to bring that song into the world. People can listen to that if they can find it. The problem is that people won't find it because there is so much bullshit going on. With I love you, you love me. There is two. I have a shoe. And that's
No. But
we're producing that song.
No. But me and my brother, we've been having this discussion for fucking 10 years.
And they made that song happen. And they made it, and they got some, they got some guys to do some push-ups and look like fit on the video, and they got some girls to wear very tiny bikinis, and that's why that's a hit on YouTube. But that's not a good song.
No, time out.
Hold on. Mikey, how many push-ups you've done today?
What?
Mikey, how many push-ups today?
I think I pushed up out of bed, so that's one.
All right.
That's one right there.
Guys, you're all pretty.
So I think we really, because Kjartan, Brenna, and I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
Shulg.
That's cool. That's an ace. That's an ace.
Flex.
You're saying his name better than mine, and you know me for fucking 4 years, you fucker.
Kjartan.
Hey,
Kjartan. It's so bad. It's
all right.
Awesome.
You're back to Bob. All right. But
how the fuck can my name be?
His is less letters. This is shorter.
He's got one vowel.
Fewer letters.
You've only got two.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be from fucking like Bulgaria or something, right? He's got one fucking vowel.
So taking everything that we've talked about musically into account, can we explain the baby shark phenomenon?
Yeah, children. Kids, it's marketed towards children, and when you get
like the most popular thing ever.
Yeah, and
Yet
if you
the
can
simplest thing ever.
If you can get children involved in something, then you are forced to get their parents involved in something.
You're screwed now, brother, because you've done this.
And so when you're talking about something like Baby Shark, you're talking about it's geared towards children. They can do the motions, they can do the words, they can stay with the beat. And then now their parents are forced to listen to it. And now their friends are listening to it. So it's this whole idea that if you want something done, you go towards the children. That's what McDonald's did. They marketed towards children. Now the children have to get the Happy Meals. The children have to get the Happy Meals, so the parents have to take them, and then they have to eat too. Disneyland did the same thing. It's geared towards children, but then the parents have to buy the food, have to buy the souvenirs, have to go on the rides. So now you have this. It's broader that way.
All right.
That's how you market things. You market towards children.
So,
sorry,
you want to go first, or you want me to?
I'm knowledgeable.
No, I understand the idea. I understand the the philosophy behind doing that. But I don't agree. I don't like it. So I won't do it. So I won't do it.
5 billion plays on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't agree, but you've done that, haven't you?
Yeah. No, but mine is not one of them.
I know, but you played on children's records.
Yeah.
Like,
and I worked my ass off playing those songs
I
to
know.
make those kids, because that was kids that made those songs. And I played my ass off making those songs as good as possible.
Aw.
Well, yeah, I did. I stayed up
No,
all night.
they were great. You won a fucking contest 2 years in a row, didn't you? With those songs.
No, I didn't.
Nice.
But their songs did.
Yeah, their songs did, but
Yeah.
it was
I
your
was playing
production.
those songs, and
fucking,
I would play those songs, and I would play your songs, or Mike's songs, or Brendan's songs, or anyone else's songs. I got those songs on my table and do the guitars for this, and yeah, I did. Like I would do for any adult or any other artist. I would play the songs. I would play the songs as good as I could.
So does it
No. Can we just give a fucking just somebody being a professional? You get a job on your table. You do the best thing that you can do.
That's the thing about any song.
Right?
The thing about any song,
whatever it is, you get it on the table. But it's fantastic. You did that, right?
The thing about any song, someone writes a song. If you're 10 years old, you're writing a song about your friends and about jumping around in the schoolyard. But at that point, that kid feels that this song is their statement. So you get that on your table and you play that
This
song.
is an actual example.
Yeah. Or it could be a song about, how
best
good
friends.
it feels to have a
Best
summer.
friends.
Yeah. Or a song that feels about how good it feels to have a summer holiday. And what are you going to do? But you get that on the table and you play that song as good as you can play it, because that's someone else's statement. You're just playing. You're just one of the people that's going to make that song work. But it's someone else is going to be on stage singing that song. And if you do a bad job, well, that song's not going to sound as good as it possibly could. So you have to play it. You have to do whatever you have. You bring out all your chops.
All right. So now you go. Yeah. But so now you got the esoteric thing about it. Like you got the artist. He's got the song. He has to make it as good as he wants, and then he gets used commercial. Right.
No. We haven't gotten to the commercial bit yet.
No. But you got job on the table. Like, make this song just work, right? That's your job. Yeah. Right. And I'm a parent, and you're a parent. I don't have to go there to buy that shit for me kids just because they ask me to. I'm a fucking adult and they're fucking 6 years old. I don't have to go to McDonald's just because they asked me to, or they heard a song that told them to go to McDonald's.
But
I'm fucking
it's not
38.
The same thing.
It's not the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. And it's apple and oranges, right?
No, I'm not playing the song for you. I'm playing the song for her.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean you have to buy the product just because you buy the song.
Brother, I don't care about you. I care about the kid that wrote the song. I want that kid to be proud about the song. If it sells two streams, or if it sells 10,000 streams.
No. We're talking about two different things. All right. So you've done the song. We're talking about two different songs. You've done the song. The song's out in the stream. It's about there, and it's promoting McDonald's, right?
No.
Right.
Don't go there.
There's the disconnection. He's saying if McDonald's comes to you and says, "I want you to make our next Baby Shark song," and you're talking about the songs that you made with the kids.
Okay, you did a song. you've done the song, right? And then
No,
McDonald's.
no. Let's step back. Mike said, if McDonald's comes to me, do the song. I haven't been that broke yet.
All right.
Right. Because
My
Do you
No,
really want to go there? Do you really want to go there? Because I know
Yeah.
what you made last year, mate. I know what
Yeah.
you made last year.
Yeah,
That's
I
public
know.
fucking information.
I know how many hours I put into that. So
Yeah,
I'm good.
I know. But so I know you wouldn't work for McDonald's, right?
No.
Because you don't need to, because you make a shit.
No, no, I don't.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Nope, I don't. But I worked.
Money aside, I think.
What I'm saying is, okay. Let's back to case of
the
point,
music,
all right?
the music part of it.
All right. If kids listen to your song and they want to go to McDonald's,
kickback or whatever you call it. But listen up. You said I make a lot of money last year. Yeah, maybe I did last year. But I've been doing this for 15 years now. I've never done as good as I did last year. It was a lucky break.
Dude, 15 years ago,
Big Brother's talking.
I was your fucking roadie.
Big Brother's talking. Quiet up. I had a good year last year. No, seriously, listen up. I had a good year last year. I've been doing this for 15 years. It was our first year ever that I had that good a year. I've had like taxes.
Excellent.
I've had everything, and I'm lucky. I'm privileged to be able to do that. I'm privileged to have had 1 year, especially now with the coronavirus and everything happening.
Right.
Thank God.
Yeah.
It could not have happened on a better year, but it has never crossed my heart. It's never happened before.
No.
I've never had as good a year. I've never had resources that allowed me to not be in trouble when this situation occurred.
No.
So,
all right.
So
Full disclosure.
But
20 years ago.
that's,
No. But
15,
full disclosure.
15 years doing this for a living. And taking that into the consideration is, what about the guys that have been doing this for 5 years? What about the guys that have been doing it for 10 years? 5 years ago, I would not have had a chance in hell.
Not
to
a
stand
chance
this
in hell,
stuff
mate.
off.
Because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was working as a roadie for my brother, driving the trucks around.
That's 20 years ago.
Is it that long ago?
Yeah.
I'm not that old, mate.
Yes, you are.
It's 10 years ago. It's 10 years ago. It's 10
You
years
were-
ago.
You were a kid. The stories I could tell. Yeah.
Yeah. It's 10 years ago. It's 10 years ago.
Oh my God.
So it's 10 years ago. I got 2 packs of Lucky Strikes and a full tank of gas. That's what I got paid.
The days.
Wow.
But fucking hell, we had a fucking good time, didn't we? We had a fucking good time. And the Funk Fiction days were Raymond and Kjartan and you.
So I have a question. So if the opportunity came up to do something that can make you a lot of money, but you would in some ways have to compromise your artistry, would you do it?
Can I answer? Please?
If you're gonna be nice.
Yeah. No, he's not.
And I think that's kind of the other part of the noise, is that the stream is so polluted with people who will just do anything for money, and they don't really care about the music at all. They don't care about the artistry at all, because they can market it to kids and it'll get 5 billion views. So now if I want to make a kid's album, there's no chance that my kid will even care about it, because Baby Shark has just taken over the planet.
I think there are two.
It's more important that I take this question than you do, because I've known you for 38 fucking years, right?